1967 to offer prosperity to all her peoples. And we were a tribal people. We were one big rivers family. We didn't know who was Igwere. We didn't know who was Ogoni. We didn't know who was Kalabare. We didn't know who was Ebani. We didn't know who was Ekpe. We were all one big rivers family. As a young boy growing up in Rivers State, all I was taught and I saw was one big rivers family. Every parent was a parent to every child in the neighborhood. That was who we were. Even our worst quarrels were turned into songs. And soon after, all that we remembered was the melody in those songs. When we engaged in ways that were unhealthy, we quickly remembered and we sang. Silence of your jealousy. I have no time to talk to you. Talking to you is a waste of time. You're under my capacity. That was who we were. Our public institutions were strong. Our public schools were the best. The children of commissioners and permanent secretaries and those of farmers all attended the same schools and were taught by the same teachers. At Government Comprehensive Secondary School, we were taught English by an Englishman. And those who taught us physics, chemistry, biology, and mathematics were Indians and Pakistanis. That means we were taught by the very best. And were told by our parents and our schools to keep a deep, abiding faith in God and a compelling sense of our humanity and love for humankind. That was who we were. Every morning before we went for classes, we had morning devotions. I will rest our faith squarely in God. I will sing, oh God, our help in ages past, our hope for years to come, our hope from the stormy blast, and our eternal home. And at night, if we are not sure that we had put our foot in all the right places, we sang, dear Lord and Father of mankind, forgive our foolish ways. Reclothe us in our rightful minds, in purer lives thy service find, in deeper reverence praise. That was who we were. Everything was good. After school, we found jobs. Our parents were employed. The civil service was great. And we had great places for recreation. We had the number 1 field, the number 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And we went to the zoo at Transamadi. We had 5-star hotels, like Hotel Presidential and Hotel Olympia. It was good. And we all were proud of our state. And each time that we tune on to a radio, for those who remember, please join me. What you hear will be, love River State or leave her alone. Don't pull her down. Think what you can do for her. Engage yourselves in meaningful activities no room for gossip. Do something meaningful. We are very proud of our state. However, the years from 1999 to today have been disastrous for both opportunities and equality. We have had no varieties in our lives. Just the vanities of our leaders which we have had to endure, and which has become exceedingly distasteful to us. Our leaders can no longer even simulate an affection for us that they do not bear, nor a grief that they do not feel. It is so sad. And therefore I will urge that we all live in the inspirations of the pressing needs of this present time. In 1999, Rivers State and Lagos were at par. Today, Lagos State is said to be the fourth or the fifth largest economy in Africa. A state within Nigeria is said to have an economy larger than the economies of most African countries. And the economy of Rivers State is a shadow of its past. Today we have a prosperity that has left more than 98% of our people behind. Rivers State was indeed created to offer prosperity to all her peoples. Our situation at this time, I will say, is unfortunate. And I will give a few examples to show. We went to Abua in 2022 last year to commission our party secretariat. And as it has become customary with us, at the end of the exercise, we go into our communities to see how our people are faring. And oftentimes we choose the market. So on that day we chose to go to the market in Abua. We got to the market at about 4:30. And we saw an old woman, over 80 years of age. And Mama said she had been there from 8 a.m. in the morning till about 4:30 p.m. when we arrived there. And all that Mama had to sell in the small tray that she carried were just leaves. I will ask Mama, how much? And Mama says, 280 naira. So for 280 naira, Mama had been in the market from 8 a.m. in the morning till about 4:30 p.m. in the evening, without as much as water to drink. Again, we went to Ungo in Andoni to commission our party secretariat. I had gone to a small community in Ghana, and I saw life at its worst, and I thought it couldn't be worse anywhere else. But then I went to Ungo. Then I saw miles and miles and miles of emptiness. Men and women with long drawn faces coming out from fishing pots, several fishing pots. I'm not sure I saw a story building at Ungo. And even their biggest market was just like a small abattoir. And then I recall that in the same 2022, we saw some elephants come out of the Andoni forest, which tells us that if we had properly harnessed our resources and committed 100% to effective governance, Andoni would have become a major tourist center. So the resources of of Rivers State, you would say, is trapped in the underdevelopment of our communities. As floods ravage our communities and our villages, I went to a village called Emelago, again in Abu Odua. And I saw whole communities submerged in water. It could not have been worse. The only thing on land was a health center, which was built to house no more than 30 persons, but had become home to more than 600 people. At night, the men slept in their canoes to let in some air for the women and children. And I saw a little boy, no more than 3 years, in his mother's arms, looking piercingly into the eyes of his mother, as if to glean a future. And then it dawned on me that just like others before that young boy, as vast as this universe is, Emelago, that village, may end up being that young boy's whole universe. This is the sorry state of our affairs. This is the sorry state of our affairs. Today, Rivers people, like the people of Ukraine, live on 3 questions: how to live, where to live, and on what money to live. Today in Rivers State, lives and property are held by no greater tenure than the car price of a mob. And our laws are continually despised and disregarded. And citizens' love for state has waned. Today in Rivers State, our mother still goes 6 feet below her childbirth. And every mother knows of yet another mother who had just lost a child. Our fathers go infirm through premature aging, and our children go to bed illiterate and hungry. Our people are locked in the gloom of the pains they call home, trapped in the quagmire of poverty set by their leaders. Today, our very own young men and women, students, have become the sandwiched generation, too old today to be something, and too old tomorrow to be anything. Therefore, we cannot afford to be deficient in the courage necessary for us to rise and to ensure that there was nothing that threatened our common future. And begin to meet those tiny little threats that hold the people's happiness. Given this scenario, I offer to serve as your governor in the 2023 March 11th elections. And I urge that you so engage me. There is work to be done. I implore you to so engage me. So that we can begin the great works that have become so necessary at this time. urge that we take this very seriously. Because the next elections shall be very defining moments. And whenever leaders fail to lead, the consequence is always loss of dignity and lives. We all cannot be born tall, rich, and lucky. And that is why we need a government to create a level playing field and to afford to each and every one of us a fair chance of success in this race of life. And I offer to help that government that will take us on a refreshing new direction and usher in a period of peace, prosperity, and unending progress. At this point, I'd like to crave your indulgence to invite my national chairman, the chairman of my campaign council, the director general of my campaign, and of course, by the special grace of God, the next executive deputy governor of Rivers State. And also, the only double professor. Professor Enke, to join me in unveiling not just my manifesto, but also my manifesto, which speaks to the things that we seek to do and the local government areas where we shall do them. At this time, please join me in the unveiling of the manifesto. Strengthen and empower our institutions, industrialization and wealth creation, strengthen and boost infrastructure, health and wellness, education and human capital development. Now, all of these things are key, but because I have said that what I want to do is to bring prosperity to Rivers people. Now what I want to do is to increase our annual GDP from the 9 billion naira monthly that it is today, monthly GDP, monthly IDR, from the 9 billion naira that it is presently to well over 25 billion in 4 years. And what I want to do is also important. Because the major difference between Rivers State and Lagos State today is that Lagos State is using their seas optimally, and we are making no revenues at all from our seas. We have the One seaport that is almost not functional today. And so we have thought of what to do to make the One seaport quite functional. And what are we going to do in that situation? We intend to very quickly build a 200 kilometers, well it won't be exactly 200 kilometers because there are some federal roads that this road shall, be adjoining roads to. A 200 kilometer bi-directional expressway all the way from, if you are looking at the map here, we are going to do that all the way from Anderekri in Okrika From Adelekri in Okrika, we shall connect Isaka. From Isaka, we shall connect Bakana. And from Bakana, we shall connect Tobia. And then Tobia will come across to Obakaki. So we'll start our railway line from Asrama. Asrama is also in Andoni. And from Asrama, we'll take it all the way down to Ka, in Kana. From Ka to Bori. From Bori, we'll take it into Thai, to a place called Baogui. And from there, we'll take it to Oyibo. And leave a terminal to await the Port Harcourt Maiduguri rail line that is about to finish. Now, once you have done that, then you have effectively ensured that all the humongous farming that we intend to do in the Ogori areas, in Eche, in Ikwere, the plantation scale mechanized farming or mechanized agriculture, farming that we intend to do, will have processes that will prepare our goods for export. So we are not just trying to do sustenance agriculture. There will be that level, of course, so that people at that level can also get engaged. But we're thinking of doing very humongous things. And because we are going to have this green rail line, which will, at the first instance, stop in a chain. But in another 3 to 4 years after that is done, we intend to move it all the way to the chain, local government. And from the chain, we'll move it right through. We are trying to give ourselves for what we're going to do. At Emoha, we intend to have our tech city. Emoha is a major estate. It's a gateway to several places. So at Emoha, we're going to have our tech city. At Emoha, we also will have the first in Nigeria, the first in Africa, and the first, I would say, in the world, where you have a big textile factory producing fabrics from polyester. We have a lot of petroleum products, and these are all byproducts of what we have. So we hope that we're going to have yet another very major petrochemical industry in Ogbogbo. And then from there, of course, because even in the Rama that we have, none of our petrochemical industries today produces polyester. And polyester is beautiful for fine fabrics. So we are going to, I just saw recently that even the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria is urging the Nigerian government to go into textiles. So we are going to begin it here in Rivers State, and from Rivers State we will conquer the rest of the world. And as we have said, by the time the Port Harcourt Maiduguri line is open to us, we would have, of course, taken care of the East, and then we'll be going well into Africa, through Central Africa and East Africa. By the special grace of God, we shall conquer East Africa and Central Africa, the same way Lagos has conquered West Africa. Because the target for us is to be as competitive as you possibly can have in this very highly competitive 21st century. So it is all about industrialization, and industrialization.
Did you reduce the contrast on the screen?
In Soku, of course, we have huge, abundant gas reserves. So we tend to have Soku called the energy city. And Soku, of course, will ensure that power generation is optimal. And of course, the feedstock for that, will be the gas. That is in abundance in Soku. The entire exuberance of the American economy can be put down to 3 innovations. Emoha will become the Silicon Valley of Rivers State and of Nigeria. As in Abolima, I think we do not have land, but we intend to have a massive hospital, well over 300 beds, with all the equipment that you can think of, full with diagnostic centers and everything. And I have a massive family land, which by the special grace of God, we shall give to the River State government. It's called LULU-BRIGGS. As a jetty, and there are a lot of amount of tourism that we will attract from the kinds of things that we want to do, as such that you will be very proud of us. Each time that we ask economists, what are the major revenue earners for River City? Tell us. It's tourism and agriculture. Look at Abua Odua, for instance, where we saw Mama. Abua has humongous clay deposits. I will not even have a clay factory. Imagine that we'll have a clay factory in Abua, producing ceramics, tiles, for local consumption, and then of course after, for the instant consumption, for Nigeria, and of course for Africa. Humongous, huge clay deposits that we have in Abuja, and we have done nothing about it. In the Prairie, for instance, we have a lot of our products. There's nothing we're doing with it. We can have industries that will produce fast-moving consumer goods, like cosmetics and soaps and all of that, and have our people gainfully employed. Have massive rice mills. So in each of our areas, we have planned what we are going to do to ensure that we create that interconnectivity where our people are gainfully employed. And each effort that we make at development, we take into cognizance the fact that we have divisions, and each of those divisions were intended to become cities. So in all the industries and development that we're going to carry out, in all the infrastructure development that we're going to carry out, in all of these areas, we shall do that with city status in mind. So hopefully, Bori will no longer be a glorified municipal council. Bori will become a thriving metropolitan city. And that will also be the fate of Degema and Ahoda, in line with Port Harcourt. Even the monorail that we have, because we intend for Port Harcourt to become a mega city, we shall get the best of engineering advice to see how best we can use the monorail. So we are thinking of very humongous things that we shall do. In all our communities where they have concerns about internal roads, those will be things of the past. In Bori, I see that in kind of local government, Kono Beach is no longer there. But we shall revive Kono Beach and make it a major tourist attraction to bring humongous revenues for River State. So, ladies and gentlemen, what I want to say to you is that I have set my sights where our collective strides can take us. And I shall commit my every minute to 60 seconds of productive activity for Rivers people. That's the minimum that I owe Rivers people. I have said time and again that I have sworn eternal fidelity to the just causes and pursuits of the Rivers man, woman, and child.